Alright guys, what is going on? How y'all doing this Tuesday evening? Well, late afternoon. This is the Club of Demand 1993, and we are live for my live review of last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. The October 24th, 2022 edition of Raw, and it took place in Charlotte, North Carolina! I think I did pretty good. But yeah, we're going to talk about this episode, but I'm not going to be up here too long. Well, one, I do have trivia night tonight, so I don't want to be up here too long. But also, unfortunately, there will be some highs, there will be some lows. And I gotta say, unfortunately, this was probably my least favorite Raw in the Triple H era so far. It was there was a couple little things that got me like a tad bit like, okay, cool. The rest of it, though, was like very skippable. It wasn't really, not much really progressed from this show. And then the booking, too, especially that main event match. I do not understand why we did that main event match the way we did. Like, you didn't capitalize when you should before. And then last night's main event was just in a super awkward position. And then even the finish was just weird. It didn't help Bayley, and it didn't make sense. I'm sorry. It didn't do anybody any favors. We did get a return though, which I'm wondering. I liked the return, but just the whole idea of that finish. And plus two also, was there one clean finish on this show? That's the other thing too. People used to hate about the Vince McMahon era, was the fact that there was no clean finishes to matches, and this one had hundreds of interfered finishes in the matches. So yeah, not the best episode of Raw. Definitely it was definitely more watchable compared to Vince McMahon's era, but Triple H, this was not the best episode. I don't know. I keep saying this too, is I'm really I'm going to watch Crown Jewel with my friends, but I'm also, the hype for Crown Jewel for me is still low. Like, compared to what it was for Extreme Rules, for Clash the Castle, it was low. Those were much higher. For Crown Jewel, though, other than Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, everything else I'm just like, okay. It's not like, oh my gosh. It's like, okay. So, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly here. Again, there's not too much to say. We do have Tyler in the live chat, though. He said he thought Becky was returning last night. Would have been interesting to see if Becky would have returned. Just not sure how that would have benefited the match, though. But I still would like to see Becky Lynch return in time for Survivor Series and be in the War Games match. The ending was dumb. Bianca and Bayley do not have chemistry at all. I second you on that. He wants Charlotte and Becky back in and fuck Horseface and fire Logan Paul. Tyler. Oh, sorry, my dad left his phone at home. You better watch yourself, Tyler. Rhonda might find out, and she might come after you, but you might want to watch out there on your Horseface comments. Oh, you also gave this show a C, slightly higher than I did. But let's talk. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it. Because I have plans for tonight, and I'm just like I said, this wasn't really one of the this was not the best episode of Raw I've seen in a while. Anyways. So the show opened up with the Judgment Day holding coming out. And they say how last week AJ Styles found out what mommy's known all along. And as the Judgment Day runs Raw. Finn Balor says AJ crumbled under Dominic's legendary pressure, which wasn't really the strongest match either. Which then has Damian Priest saying his favorite line of the night, when we all rise for the greatest luchador in the history of his business, Dominic Mysterio. He then takes a turn but gets drowned out by boos because he is great at generating the heat as a heel. And says the Judgment Day are the ones who ever believed in him, and last week he proved all the haters and doubters wrong when he beat AJ Styles clean. It wasn't clean. And when he thinks about it, he is this generation's Eddie Guerrero. Eddie was his generation's Dominic Mysterio, which of course got a lot of heat from that. And last thing we did to AJ was just a small taste of what the Judgment Day, and then he get interrupted by the OC. AJ says how Dom is actually his generation's James Ellsworth, which of course James Ellsworth, I think, had fired back at him on Twitter about that. And they said they're going to pick Judgment Day off one by one. Then Finn accuses him of hiding in the club that he started. And while he's being honest, ever since he left and moved on, everyone that ever came after him is living off his legacy. And today, Judgment Day are in town and step up and get put down. Carl Anderson says he's the toughest guy in the ring. And we have a match with Finn Balor and Carl Anderson, which was decent. And of course, like I keep saying too, I think, what's going to... I'm glad they brought the OC back. I'm glad they're back with AJ. You gotta establish characters. Because they still feel very... They feel very plain. Like, okay, like I'll be honest, like, I have mixed feelings about what they did with Luke Gallows tonight. With the whole thing during the match, Rhea Ripley body slammed him, which, cool. But also, it was like, if you want to get them back on track again, you gotta establish some character. But I still thought that was cool that Rhea Ripley literally just picked up and body slammed a 6'8" guy. Like, again, I've of everyone in the Judgment Day, I've loved Rhea's booking the best, as I keep saying. And I don't know why because she was supposed to fight for the Raw Women's title at Money in the Bank before she got injured, but I don't know why they haven't put a title on her. They have not put a title on her, but she's just... I still think she's the best thing, but she's been the best thing of the Judgment Day. And again, the Judgment Day have grown on me, and they've gained a lot of momentum. But man, oh man, I love that they have booked her. But like I said, they gotta... In order for me to be able to take AJ and the OC seriously again, they gotta give Gallows and Anderson character. They gotta give them personality again. Because if not, then it's just gonna feel it's not gonna feel any different than it was before they left. But Finn Balor wins after off a distraction. Rhea slipped in a low blow on Carl Anderson, and Finn won with the lateral press, building again towards that 6-man tag match at what's it called? At Crown Jewel. So we got that. We also get a recap of Miz taking Dexter Lumis out last week. Johnny Gargano's backstage with a whistle when Miz rolls up to ask him what he thinks he knows. Johnny then taunts him and says he knows what he knows, but Miz denies that there's anything to know and tells him to quit lying and tell the truth. Miz goes to the ring for an episode of Miz TV, I guess, or something like that. And he says that, because I missed the first hour of Raw last night, but I caught the highlights. But he says how Johnny has accused him of keeping a secret about what happened between him and Dexter Lumis. He's right, but he'll reveal it in due time. Which I'm just like, is there really a secret? Like, what is this big secret going to be? He goes over the facts, which is that Dexter got escorted away from Raw, kidnapped him, and invaded his home and so on. Lumis targeted him because his mind and his knowledge and what he chose to share his expertise with Tommaso Ciampa. Dexter's upset that Ciampa stole the career that he thought he deserved and just didn't want Ciampa to know that he's the reason this is happening because he's his best friend and misses him. Johnny then comes out and says how Miz is full of crap and that's not what really happened. He's so full of himself and he doesn't realize Ciampa is injured and not missing, and apparently that's why he's not been on TV. Ciampa is dealing with an injury, which sucks because he was getting. They're definitely putting the cards down on the table. Well, they're putting the eggs in the basket on Ciampa for sure before he got hurt. And if he wants Dexter and Gargano out of his life, he just has to tell the truth, or he'll blow the whistle. And Miz said he's been telling truth after truth after truth, and then R-Truth came out. Miz wants to tell the truth. Well, he's here, and then Johnny says he's got a point. He's the real truth. Miz is confused and angry, does a cheap heat bit about local food, and Truth threatens to give him a good old-fashioned butt whooping. And then and Johnny goes Miz into taking the match, and the match happens. Miz and R-Truth. Truth wins with a random schoolboy roll because Johnny Gargano went to the crowd in like a dark jacket, dressed up as Dexter Lumis, and just freaked out Miz to get the victory. And then speaking of which, we got more from that later. I guess basically Johnny told Miz later on the night to either, tell them next week or he's telling them. And I'm just like, okay, I'm glad we're getting like a storyline progression. Hopefully we get the reveal next week. But again, this story is just dragged on so long. And the thing too is that I don't know why, but I don't have the feeling. And here's the thing too. Again, this is not Triple H's fault, but they've booked Miz like crap ever since he went back to being ever since his feud with Shane McMahon ended in 2019. When he was hot and a believable babyface, they booked Miz like crap. Even as a heel again, he's not been able to be what he was between 2016 and 2018 when he was a heel. So this whole idea that there's a secret that Miz knows, like, unless it's something like developmental or tough enough or something from years ago, I don't know if like this reveal is gonna be that like mind blowing. It's like in 2017 when they had that storyline where Kurt Angle had some big secret he had to reveal, and the big reveal ended up getting flat because of like that, because of being Jason Jordan being revealed as his son. Like I'm not 100% confident that this reveal is going to be anything like big and spectacular. But of course, we'll see what happens. Speaking of the Garganos. We have Candice LeRae having a sit-down interview. She talks about how exciting this is, but also what a challenge it is, and the support she's gotten from her allies such as Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss. Damage Control roll up and tell her they put all her allies on the shelf, and then LeRae's like, what are you trying to prove? And she's the only one they've proven to her is that Io Sky is still untrustworthy. And Dakota is spiteful, and Bayley still isn't Raw Women's Champion, which gets them pissed off. They shove the camera out of the way, and they basically jumped Candice LeRae, and I think they, storyline-wise, injured her. So taking out yet another one of Bianca Belair's members. I guess if Becky's not going to be back in time for War Games, I guess Candice is going to be the fourth member. Okay, she does have War Game experience, but man, I wanted Becky in there. Unless, like Asuka or Alexa get replaced or something. But man, I wanted Becky in there. So, of course, that's where they're going with that. Well, for now. We'll talk about this more later. We didn't have a segment with Elias and Matt Riddle. But Elias basically wants to say he's excited about Riddle is. Here's the thing too. Why is Matt Riddle being goofy Matt Riddle again? I love like that serious side that they had for him going into his match at Clash the Castle. But it was like week by week since Clash the Castle, they like washed off the serious side slowly, and like yes, he won the Fight Pit match, but then it's like. It just, I don't know, it's like, it didn't have like that big explosive like, hurrah grand finale. Like, they just said, okay, Rollins gets the US title even though he lost at the Fight Pit match. And then they had no build to that US title match they had the other week. And now they're just moving on. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. It just, it bothers me how that happened. But Riddle's being goofy, playing his bongos. But Elias tells him he's a serious artist. He's had a long history of being disrespected and interrupted. And he vowed to do something about it since he came back. He'll let Riddle's interruptions slide, but he's going to have to do something about it if it happens again. But then Matt tells him, he's like, oh, I've been hitting my bongos all week, and then he plays some. And then, of course, obviously, they're teasing. I mean, Elias is back as a face. I mean, he was a face when he was being Ezekiel, but I think they're gonna have Elias turn on Matt Riddle. They teased it like a couple times, like tonight, last night and whatnot. They're probably going to turn Elias back into being a heel again and have him feud with Matt Riddle. And I don't know if I can get behind that right now. Elias and Matt Riddle, it's like going to be, I don't know. Because again, there's still, people to repair basically. So I don't think I can get behind that feud, Elias and Matt Riddle. But then Alpha Academy roll up. Gable taunts them, and then he calls them Blink 18 Shush, and tells Elias to shave the beard and pretend to be Ezekiel again. But of course, Elias takes offense to that and says they're not a band and don't disrespect my little brother. And since they interrupted him, he wants to see them out in the ring. And Gable tells Otis he eats pieces of crap like him for breakfast. And then, of course, Riddle's giggling about it. And then we have Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali. Match was okay. Match was decent. Seth Rollins was out there, of course, on commentary, causing a distraction for his new problem, Mustafa Ali. And it worked because Theory beat Ali. And then Seth Rollins tries to beat him down afterwards. But then, of course, Ali does fight back and get an upper hand on Rollins, and it sends Rollins, running. This I like. Again, I'm very interested in this for sure. And again, I'm not opposed to them having Ali beat Seth. But again, I do like what they're doing with this with Seth Rollins and Mustafa Ali build there. I really do like that. But that only happened for so long. Then of course the Miz saw Johnny and gave him a get well card for Candice, which was basically, it wasn't even signed or whatnot. And Johnny just shrugged him off. And then Johnny runs into JBL and Baron Corbin, who thank goodness got a new outfit, because I hated the outfit he had last week. He's here, but then Corbin and JBL introduce himself as his elders and betters. Johnny says he'll give him his respect as a legend and a Hall of Famer, but he calls John MC Hammer Pants and asks Baron Corbin what his current gimmick name is, as it's changed how many times. And then JBL is going to get Johnny wrestling a match against Corbin to teach him a lesson later on in the show. And then we had Omos squashing 4 jobbers, hyping up the match at Crown Jewel with him and Braun Strowman. I could give 2 shits about. Again, all of us say it all the time on Twitter. Omos ain't it. I keep saying this too. Omos is the modern day Great Khali. Not the modern day Maharaja. Well, he's pretty bad too. But he's the modern day Great Khali. That's all Omos is. I'm sorry. I don't care about this feud with Omos and Braun Strowman. I don't. And the sad part too is this was probably the only, match that didn't have any interference in it. Probably the only one. Omos beat 4 hopeless jobbers. Then we have a quick match with Chad Gable and Elias. Elias actually won that one. Afterwards, though, Otis jumped Elias, and then Matt Riddle comes down and saves him. I guess we're going to get a tag match, with Elias and Riddle against Alpha Academy. But again, they're teasing Elias turning on Riddle. It's going to happen soon, probably. I see it coming. And then, of course, we have AJ Styles hanging out with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows backstage with ice packs on their nuts. And basically realizing that the biggest problem with Judgment Day is Rhea, and they gotta do something about it. So that was a little interesting. Who they may bring in, though? I mean, we could see Beth Phoenix come back and be in their corner. Like, if they make this, 6-man tag into, an 8-man tag or something. That's interesting, though. Well, it's probably gonna be Beth in revenge for... Well, that's right. They might want to sell the injury longer. I don't know who they'll bring in, to take care of Rhea now. They could bring somebody in, though, but I like that idea of, they're recognizing that Rhea is the problem. Basically, Rhea's, the glue that holds the group together. She's been the one helping being the executor of most of the reasons why Judgment Day have been able to win their matches. So that interested me. What was not too great, though, was Johnny Gargano and Baron Corbin. Yeah. Not too good. And then there was that goofy comedy stuff towards the end where Johnny put JBL's hat on. He was getting the upper hand until JBL got involved, like swept Johnny's leg, and then it led to Corbin pulling him back in the ring. Corbin hit the end of days to get the victory. Corbin's winning, I guess, but yeah, match was not that great. Not good chemistry with Johnny Gargano and Baron Corbin. Sorry. We have that. We have Bianca Belair being interviewed backstage. She's outnumbered tonight, but she'll take out Dakota and Io to get to Bayley because this is a bigger than the title. It's about payback. She's taking out all of her friends, so tonight she's not stopping until she's left with absolutely nothing. We had this segment with Johnny saying if he doesn't tell the truth next week, then he will. We also get a video package for Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar for Crown Jewel. And then we have the main event. Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a non-title match. And this was not good. Again, the problem is the fact that they missed the opportunity. They missed the proper moment at Extreme Rules. Bayley should have won. I'm sorry. I love Bianca as champion, but you had a brand new stable that was making, again, even before Survivor Series, was making me say, War Games, War Games, War Games. Female version of Undisputed Era. And then, of course, again, I mean, yes, you've given Damage Control some more victories lately, but they didn't win the tag titles, right? They lost that match. Oh, I'm sorry. I said it last week. I'll let that one slide, because at least they told the story where the wrong person, got pinned. Dakota Kai, who got rolled up by Aaliyah, was not the legal person. So I'll let that one slide. But even so, as single stars, they were losing a lot of matches. And Bayley losing that match at Extreme Rules was not the right idea. I'm sorry, again, Bianca's had a great reign, but Damage Control should be the shit. Damage Control should be the big dominating stable, of course. That's going to be the big, team to beat at War Games. The build they're doing with them now, I'm not feeling War Games anymore. And this was not a good idea because it's a non-title match. Bayley already has a loss. So you don't want her to lose again. But yet we want to get away from this concept of you got to beat the champion clean to get a title match. I hate it. I hate it so bad when they do that concept. And then, of course, the thing, too, is the way the match ended. We have someone come flying out of nowhere, which I like how this was shot, because you couldn't tell at first who it was. And then, of course, as things go on, when Bianca goes hit the KOD, when the referee was already taken out too, but then Nikki Cross was the person who had attacked outside the ring. Well, she did the crossbody on the referee and on Damage Control. But then she hit a neck breaker on Bianca Belair, and then Bayley just reached with a one-arm pin, and thanks to Nikki Cross, got the victory. So I'm thinking, okay, even if this is having Nikki Cross join Damage Control and having like those four versus Bianca, Alexa, Asuka, and Candice, it's that still looks like the rest of the crew is weak. So if there's anyone who should be the new head of Damage Control, it should be Nikki Cross. But then Nikki Cross attacks Bayley. And I'm what the hell's going on here? So if she's not joining either side, then what's the point? Unless this is, I was going to say this could be making it into a 3-on-3 match, but again, who's going to join Nikki Cross? She's a heel. I mean, I like they repackaged her. I like that, they gave her old name back, not the stupid Nikki A.S.H., almost a superhero. I'm so glad they took that off of her. And, I'm intrigued to see, what new gimmick they're putting on her now. Maybe they'll make her the Twisted Sister again and make her Psycho Nikki again. I'm hoping that's what they're looking to do. But, again, it's just what's the point? Like, is Nikki just going to be, like, are they just going to have, like, a triple threat match for the title now where Nikki's basically just in there to eat the pin? Like, that's not going to make Nikki Cross look good either. We're trying to, like, improve, like rebrand these stars, like, fix them from all the damage that Vince McMahon did to them. This ain't the way to go, though. It's not the way to go. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, even after this match, too, it did not help Bayley. It did not help Damage Control, because I in no way now can believe Bayley can beat Bianca. I can't. I'm sorry. Like this match was not good. It didn't do anything for either one of these women. It didn't do any favors for Nikki Cross, because, again, it made no sense. Again, even if she would have attacked just Bianca, helped Bayley win, and join Damage Control, you made Nikki Cross look like, the strong point of Damage Control, so she should be the one then going after the title. But then she attacks Bayley. So what the hell's going on here? So yeah, disappointing episode of Raw. It's going to happen, though. You're going to have your good episodes. You're going to have your not so good episodes. It's going to happen. We'll, of course, just see how Triple H falls up from this as we get ready to the Crown Jewel. So hopefully, though, after we get away from this Crown Jewel crap, hopefully Survivor Series build will be a little bit better, because we do have War Games. But then again, the Women's War Games match now, it's like, why care? Why care about this Women's War Games match when, again, the biggest heel faction is not being booked too strong? They're weak. I'm sorry, they're weak. But, yeah. I gave the show a C-. Like, it was, the only thing I thought that was absolutely, horrible, again, the stuff that I really did not like was the stuff with Omos, the main event. Everything else was just like, was what it was. I mean, I love seeing, Rhea body slamming Luke Gallows was cool, even though, again, they got to get characters, though, for Gallows and Anderson, for them to, not feel plain, or again, feel like what they felt like before they got released. Again, we'll see what happens with Miz and Dexter Lumis next week, but I don't want to set the bar too high of what this big reveal is going to be. I do, though, again, like what they're doing with Seth Rollins and Mustafa Ali. I do like that. Again, I do like the idea of, like, that, again, the club is realizing that Rhea is their biggest problem. So, what are they going to do to stop Rhea? We'll see what happens. But I gave the show a C-. Raw got a C- for me this week. Check the live chat before we go off the air. Let me in Fen, not sure what you mean by there. Why the hell is Nikki Cross in the storyline with Bianca and Bayley? It's confusing. Omos sucks. No one wants Roman versus Logan at Crown shit. Neither do I. JR says, all we need now is Doudrop to get her name back, Pete Dunne to get his name back. They have not, well, now that, of course, they basically split up, unless they're going to have Nikki Cross and Piper Niven still be a heel tag team just under their actual names and their original gimmicks. Well, Piper Niven being a heel, even though I feel like she should be a face again, but that I'd be okay with. But, but Pete Dunne, Pete Dunne's, they gave him the look back, he's wrestling Pete Dunne, but give him the name back. What do you think Bianca Belair and Bayley's third match is going to be, or fifth match? How many other times they wrestled? I'm not sure what you mean there. Hopefully Candice LeRae gets a women's title match. Some basis. Triple H is back from COVID. Thoughts on that? Glad to hear he's feeling better for sure. Glad he's back. For sure. Hear rumor that Batista is coming back to WWE to be somebody in creative. Nice. The women's division is weak with no Charlotte and Becky. And Seth earlier this year was in 2 world title matches. He was, yes. Now he's being U.S. champ. And Seth's put on some very excellent matches this year. With that being said, guys, though, I am going to check out because I do got to get going here. Like I said, not much to really say about this episode of Raw. It was pretty weak. Gave it a C-. Again, the next, starting tomorrow, whatnot, the next 2 weeks are going to be very busy for me. So just stay patient. I will get to the reviews. The biggest, of course, concern I always have is getting the preview in before the pay-per-view. So if I have to, I might just have to get Crown Jewel in before I get some weekly show reviews in as well. So just be patient with me, guys. There'll be more content to come to the channel, but the next 2 weeks are going to be kind of busy. So may not get the stuff right away. But got Raw in tonight, though. That's a plus. So, guys, C- for Raw this week. What are your guys' thoughts on Raw this week? Do you think, again, do you agree with my thoughts on the main event not working at all for anything, and they shouldn't have even done to begin with? What do you guys think of Nikki Cross's return as well? Who do you guys think that the club could recruit to help deal with the Rhea Ripley problem? Make sure you guys leave thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your night. And peace out, everybody.
Yeah, no, I will surprise. There's no escape.